Our next readers are a group. They are writers and editors from the online power site, The Weeklings. It's my joy and pleasure to introduce 4 of the Weeklings: Jennifer Cabot, Jana Martin, Janet Steen, and Robert Burke Warren. Yeah.
Jen's not here.
Jen's not here, so that means we get more time.
Yeah. Come on, Janet. Come on up. We work together. It makes us more ruthless.
We will not be dancing.
I might. Okay. Okay, I did. All right. This is from a Weeklings thing we did about the tragedy that we've all been through. 5 tips for surviving as female. 1, stay vigilant. Assume the stance of outrage. Don't let it go. Believe you are a feminist soldier in the Army of the United States of Pussy Grabs Back. Yeah. Do not calm down. To compensate for crazy winning, be more crazy. Do not keep calm. Aim low. 2, avoid buy-in. Shopping for your new post-election look? Consider a cute combat belt and mace canister, or marchable boots and matching regulation small bag. But be careful. Pre-purchase, do research company donation history as well as customer reviews on quality, sizing. 500 plus businesses enabled Trumpler's favored nation: Zappos, Amazon, Blue Fly, Lord & Taylor, and yes, LL Bean. Beware of heiresses in sexless brown smocks. Maybe avoid the Learning Annex. For years they offered a seminar by Valda Trump called "The World Wants You to Grab It by the Pussy, Believe Me, Here's How." Careful about accidentally supporting the new American fascists. They are everywhere. 3, be creative. When contouring your face, there's no need to sell off your rights on Ivanka Cosmetics. Create a perfect spawn of an asshole glow using a red Sharpie. Just blend well. Plus, it's perfect for making signs, too. To define cheekbones for post-apocalyptic impact, upsweep a smudge of contaminated Hudson River mud. Smear warrior style, eye socket, and up. Have fun. Switch up the look. Moderate for basic demonstrations and dramatic for those tear gas and water cannon times. Going to Washington? Perfect chance to test it out. The extra application may protect your eyes. Go on, take that selfie. Okay. I have a feeling our president-elect is going to get a lot of mail in the next few years or months or whatever the case might be. And it's not going to be pretty. So this is a letter that I wrote to him. To our president-elect. The first time I met you was in a dream I had in the 1970s. You appeared as the greediest man in the world, some sort of really devilish archetype. You told my hardworking mother and father they were losers and then tried to take all their money to buy a new yacht. You were quite possibly the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is to say the scariest figure in my psyche, marauder of innocence and hope. You grabbed my Barbie dolls and tore their heads and legs off. Luckily, I woke up and it had all been a bad dream and I was safe. In the 1980s, I vaguely knew you actually existed. I was reading a lot of books, a lot of poetry. And you were the opposite of poetry. No rhythm or grace and nothing to say. You were the world of dollar signs and commerce. You were the clanking machinery of jobs and bills and cogs and wheels, and I thought I could outrun you. The 1990s, well, there we were both in New York. You were the overstuffed frat boys working down on Wall Street, the con artists in Times Square, the stealth fondler on the subway, the advertising men who started ruining the business I worked for. You signed my checks, I cashed them willingly. The 2000s, you had some sort of TV show? I paid no attention. Reality TV?
It depressed the hell out of me. You were the setup preceding the punchline, and you were the punchline too. The huckster, the snake, the landlord who kicked me out after I complained to the city that I had no heat. You had the soul of a subprime mortgage lender. I moved to the country, saw less of you there. The 2010s totally forgot about you for a while. We have Obama, and he's such a sane and beautiful human. He pretty much means what he says. We start possibly being better people in some ways. But there are guns everywhere, and Twitter is destroying our brains. Still, we can do this, everyone. We can beat this back. We're on a roll. And then a bad dream again one night in 2016. You are the child catcher again, the greediest man in the world. You're now exposing my Barbie doll's plastic parts. To satisfy your monstrous ego, you run for president. My subconscious has lost its mind. I wake up and you've taken the election. The greediest man in the world has made it to the top. Like a heart floating in formaldehyde, you are divorced from all compassion. Lonely. I feel lonely for the world. But we can turn this disaster around. We can change the outcome. January 20th, 2017. Inauguration day comes and we haven't changed the outcome. Not yet, anyway. But there's still time. The credits have not rolled. And my daughter, who was never all that interested in Barbie dolls, who never even saw Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, still has a look of hope on her face. She was reared on Barack and Michelle. She believes in a benevolent world. So watch out, Mr. President-elect. The children will be doing the catching soon enough.
Janet Steen and Jana Martin. Have you ever been hit in the face? I have. More than once, mostly in childhood, at the hands of my older brother, although once in my 20s, by a ham-fisted kid on St. Mark's Place who objected to me trying to stop him and his friends from beating up a homeless guy. "You're killing him," I said. "Back it up," the kid said. And I saw stars, and I fell on my bass case, hot purple blooming on my cheek. When I stood up, the boys were running, laughing, the homeless guy struggling to his feet, looking at me like I'm crazy. That was the last time I was hit in the face on purpose. But when I mention these incidents, I realize I cannot recall the pain. Physical pain is hard to recall in the mind, extremely difficult to accurately describe with words. Unlike smell, taste, emotion, it resists codification. It resists analog representation. The only way to recall it is to experience it again. Just a couple of years ago, I was hit in the face by accident. I was trying to get apples from the high reaches of a tree, and the heavy birch stick I was using broke and hit me in the mouth. Once again, I saw stars. Once again, blood pooled on my tongue. I was back to the days of being called a faggot as a fist plowed into me. I was back on that East Village sidewalk, picking my own ass up as pedestrians walked by. But this time, I could not stop laughing. I am not a masochist, but I almost welcomed this pain, this temporary reminder of how far I have come from a time when I cowered in the fetal position beneath a bully, when violence rained down on me. This time, what rose to meet that pain was my life. Years compressed for an instant into sensation as apples plodded to the ground, and I stumbled like a drunk. This was a sense that only a person of a certain accumulation of years can feel. My son, my wife, my neighbors, my town, they all live in me. Every kind word, good deed, sweet embrace of a friend, glorious day, episode of dumb luck, every moment free of past or future was there as I wiped the scarlet from my lips and found a stronger stick.